traditional search, or independent sponsor? Which of these routes is right for you? This is a question I just got from someone on LinkedIn. And their question was, look, I've been going as a self-funded searcher for a while, and I just keep finding companies that are a little bit bigger than what I expected. So should I consider raising capital and being an independent sponsor? And the right answer really isn't, should you be a self-funded searcher or should you be an independent sponsor? And it's really not about the size of the company you're going after, although obviously that does matter. The real question is, what do you actually want your day-to-day to look like? Because each one of these routes ends with you buying a company. However, they're all vastly different when it comes to what your day-to-day looks like. And so the real question is, what kind of life do I want to have? What kind of job do I actually want to do? So let's break that down a little bit. If you decide to go the self-funded searcher route, here's the pros. You're going to own the majority of the equity of your company. That basically means in America, you're Caesar, you're God, you're a dictator. You can do whatever you want. Investors can't tell you what to do. You're also going to be rolling up your sleeves and getting into work. You become a pinnacle of your community. All that kind of stuff that you're hoping for. You get to dictate all the terms. The downside is that the vast majority of small businesses will never sell, which means when you buy that small business, you're going to own it for a long time. You should plan on 10 to 20 years. Now, of course, I want the absolute best for you. And if that's what you're looking for, then no brainer. If you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to grow this company and then sell it to private equity or another buyer in like 7 to 12 years, then look, I hope that happens for you if that's what you want. I hope everyone gets a ridiculous offer, but let's be clear, the vast majority of small businesses will never sell. And so you have to go into this assuming that you're not special and the normal things will happen to you. And so now we consider traditional search. Now, before we even talk about traditional search, let's just be clear, unless you're in a very specific kind of circle and you know what I'm talking about, this is not an option for you. If you are somebody where traditional search is an option for you, then you have to be really clear about what kind of outcome you're going for. You do not own the company. At best case scenario, you're going to own somewhere between 15 and 25% of the company. So you're going to be a sizable minority equity investor. You're going to be the CEO of that company. And the whole goal is to grow value and sell. You will sell that company 5 years, 7 years, 9 years. At some point, you'll have a liquidation event because that's the only way you're going to return value to your investors, including yourself. And so your day-to-day is, I am now the CEO of a middle market company. And what that's training me to do is to be a CEO in a middle market company. So when this is over, you're going to be the CEO of a PE-backed company. That's most likely what's going to happen. Unless you decide to take that experience, which is going to be vast, and then use that to become an independent sponsor or work for a private equity fund or run your own self-funded search. But you get to choose. So that's the experience you're going to have. Now, if you go the independent sponsor route, things are very different. And the easiest way to explain this is you're basically launching a private equity firm, but you don't have any money. And so you're going to close deals deal by deal. You have to raise capital deal by deal. And the long term can be very successful. However, in the short term, it doesn't make a lot of money at all. So as a independent sponsor, it's not really expected that you're going to be the CEO. You absolutely can be. Just be upfront and clear with your investors what the plan is. But most of the time, it's not you being the CEO. It's you being the general partner. You're the GP. And if you have team members or partners, you're the GPs. Your job is to find the company, acquire the company, put management in place, and sit on the board and manage that company and help create value. So your job is to hire and fire the CEO. That's your job. And then go find more of those deals that can then get funded. So you're building a private equity portfolio. All three of these routes can be incredibly lucrative if you get them right. One isn't better than the other. What makes them right is what job you actually want to do. Do you want to be the owner of a blue-collar HVAC company, working with your team, making an impact in your community day by day, making your own schedule, like really having complete ownership in what you do without anyone else telling you what to do? Then self-funded search is the right path. If you're coming out of an MBA program and you're like, man, I want to fast track to being a CEO. I have access to becoming a traditional searcher. And when this is over, I want to have that experience of being a middle market CEO, maybe to be a PE-backed CEO in the future, maybe to be an independent sponsor, maybe to work at a private equity fund, maybe to raise my own capital. Then traditional search is a great option for you. But if you know that you want to dive headfirst into the world of private equity, and you want to do that on a deal-by-deal basis without raising funds first, then independent sponsors for you. And the truth is that all of these routes, with the exception of, well, really with the exception of traditional search, unless you're in that circle, they're viable. They're viable for you. The size of the company is not the problem. The amount of capital you can raise is not the problem. The problem is your knowledge to get it done. And most importantly, at the foundation is, what do you actually want to do with your time? Because each one of these routes, like I said, can be incredibly successful. But do you actually want to do the job? So I've had the privilege to speak with a lot of searchers, a lot of small business owners who used to be searchers. And I've noticed a little bit of a trend lately, which is, searchers who had came from, maybe more white collar positions, maybe, jobs in banking, or consultants, and they get swept up in ETA and they go buy a plumbing company or an HVAC company, and maybe they're 2-3 years in, post close, and the business is fantastic. It's doing everything they wanted it to do. Their profitability is fantastic. Everything worked out how they hoped it would. I mean, obviously, there were issues, there were obstacles to overcome, but by and large, they're being successful. But they hate their jobs. So you need to be really clear, again, about what job you actually want to do, because all of these things are jobs. So with that in mind, that's probably the most important thing I could tell you as you're starting to get your search together. What job do you actually want to do? And are we going to solve that problem first? Once you know what kind of job you want to do, then we can solve all the other problems. All right, till next time.